Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Shannon and this is Glam by Shan. Thank you so much for joining me today. We are going to be doing a very exciting springtime makeup look with the new Sigma Cor De Rosa eyeshadow palette. I love this packaging, these rose gold roses. Rose gold is my favorite color, so I'm very excited to share a look with you today. I want to work with the pink and coral tones, like in this warm family down here, a little bit of these shades. That's kind of what I'm going for, but you never know, we could get crazy. So if you're interested in a springtime makeup look, let's get started. First, we're gonna prime our eyes with the MAC Painterly Paint Pot. I'm just gonna go ahead and prime both of my eyes. I'm also going to go in and put some extra moisturization on my face with the e.l.f. Prep and Hydrate Balm. I just take it and twist it up just a little bit. Then I'm going to go ahead and just run it all around my face just for some extra hydration, and then I will pat it in. So I hope you're all doing well and staying safe and healthy. I know this is kind of a crazy time for everybody, myself included, but I just want to say I hope you're all doing well. All right, I am just gonna work this in just a little bit, just for some extra hydration. My skin is really kind of going through it at the moment, my hands especially with all the extra hand washing, but do what you gotta do to stay healthy. Right. Okay. I just want to mention a tool that I use all the time when doing any sort of eyeshadow look. I use the JCat Dry Makeup Brush Cleaner. This thing is a lifesaver, especially if you dip into all kinds of different shades in your makeup look. You just take the top off, swirl the brush you just used just to get all the color off, and then it's clean. It's the best thing ever. So I'm just gonna use this with my makeup look today. I'm gonna start with a fluffy tapered brush, and I'm gonna dip into the shade Apricot, however you wanna call it. I'm gonna dip into that shade here, and I'm just gonna, oh, these are a little bit powdery, but that doesn't bother me. And I'm just going to blank out my whole lid with this shade. I've got my mirror right here to my right, your left. And I'm just gonna run this all over my eye space, just as a nice base shade to lay down before we start to blend all of the other colors in. The other day I did a really beautiful kind of pinky purple sunset kind of look with this palette. Did I take a picture of myself? No. Did I film it? No. My goal is to film it and to post it here on my channel, so stay tuned. I will do that for you. Okay, so I've got this shade all over my lids. It looks a little bit deeper here on camera than it does in person. It's just a nice wash of apricot, however you like to call it, on your lids. Okay, I'm going to go in with another tapered fluffy brush. This is a Morphe M532. And I'm going to take the shade Hybrid right here, this beautiful coral pink. And I'm going to put that and fluff it all in my crease. So I don't know if you can see that, but there is quite a bit of kick up with this palette. It does not bother me. I do just want to mention it though. I know some people might be turned off by it. So tap off the excess. I'm going to go right into the crease here. So I use a combination of windshield wiper motions and circular motions and going in both directions. I really have no rhyme or reason which method I choose on my eyes. I just kind of go back and forth between the two, and I find that it gives me the most beautiful blend. So it's all about trial and error. Makeup is a beautiful artistic form that anyone and everyone can use, no matter your abilities. And for me, this was all about trial and error, figuring out what works for your eye shape, what sort of techniques you like to use, and honestly, I learned a lot about makeup through not only YouTube, but I was a competitive figure skater for a long time, and you had to wear makeup on the ice to make yourself stand out against your competitors, and that was kind of something that I learned at a very young age, which I do very much appreciate now, and that was a great time in my life. So I'm just going to dip back into this color, work it on this eye again, and then work it onto the other. And I'm by no means a makeup artist, but this is something I do really enjoy, and honestly, growing up, I had no artistic ability. I can't draw at all. Stick people are also just really hard for me. So this is the first kind of creative outlet that I've really ever had, and I like to think that I'm good at it, and I hope you guys think so too, but I do just want to make that disclaimer that I'm not a makeup artist, but I am somebody who really loves makeup and just wants to share that love. Okay, so I have that color Hybrid now blended on both of my eyes. You can see it is a nice coral color combined with that apricot shade. It looks really beautiful on the lids. So I'm going to go in and deepen it up a little bit with the shade Medallion. It is a brown color. It is right here. I'm going to take a more tapered brush. So this is the Jaclyn Hill Morphe JH33 brush. It is a more tapered blending brush, very similar to the MAC 217. And I'm going to dip into the Medallion shade right here. So again, a lot of kick up, but doesn't bother me. Tap off any excess, and I'm going to work that in my crease and my outer corner. So first starting with the outer corner of the crease, moving inward, back and forth, windshield wiper and circular motions. Again, flip-flopping between the two. Just deepening up this look a little bit. This is how it looks so far. Kind of looks like a beautiful coral kind of sunset, which I'm really digging. I do like that. Nice springtime vibes. Anything coral or pinky or pastel I kind of associate with spring. And it is April, so it is right in the heart of spring. I do love this time of year, especially today. It is a beautiful day outside. Now I'm kind of deciding which shimmer to use on my lid. I'm not sure if I want to go in with, I'll show you, High Society, which is on the top here, or this shade right here, which is Sun Sprite. I'm not sure if I want to do like a golden kind of look or more of a rosy tone. I'm feeling more of a rosy tone. Let me swatch them for you. Let's decide. Okay, this is High Society. Ooh. And this is Sun Sprite. Ooh, I like both of them. Maybe I can do both of them. I really want to incorporate the color of High Society and then maybe just kind of pat on Sun Sprite for the glitters in it. I think that's what I'm going to do. Let's do that. That sounds good. High Society on a flat shader brush. This is a Morphe M124. And I'm just going to dip right in here. Grab some of this gorgeous shimmer and put it all over my lid. I do like to load up one side of the brush and then the top of the brush as well, just to make sure I get all of that shimmer everywhere. And then I'm gonna go in on my lid. Hopefully you can see me. Move it a little bit so you can. I'm gonna hold down my lid, just like I did before, and I'm gonna go in and just press. Wow, the shade is really beautiful, even without like a Fix Plus or any sort of setting spray to wet the brush first. Like, that looks pretty good so far. Sorry about my twitchy eyelid. One thing I haven't mastered yet. Non-twitchy eyelids. This color blends in really nicely with the rest of the colors we have going on the lid. I think it looks really great. So I am going to take my finger and I'm gonna go into that shade High Society right here with my finger. So pretty. And I'm gonna go ahead and pat that on my lid. I do personally like to use my finger with shimmer shades just so that you get the most payoff possible. That's so pretty. It has this beautiful kind of rusty undertone to it, so it blends in really well with the other look we have here. Pretty. So this look went a little rusty instead of coral, but I'm not mad at it. It's really pretty. This is more like a nighttime spring makeup look. This is really pretty. If you did want to make it a little more springy, I would say go into more of a matte shade and put it on the lid and then kind of just disperse a little bit of glitter on there to make it a little more daytime appropriate. But I told you, it might get a little crazy, and here we are. So this is what we've got going on so far on both lids. I have that High Society shade on both eyelids, all over, so not right in the center, but all over the lid. Now I'm gonna go in with the Sun Sprite shade right here on my finger. So I'm just gonna go back and forth just a tiny bit. And then pat it on my lid to try to get the glitters from this shade. It is so reflective. I really, really enjoy this shade. So I'm gonna pat. Yeah. So I'm patting on my lid. You can see the gold is coming off just a little bit. Yeah, that's what I wanted. So this is more of a fiery tutorial. Not necessarily a springtime tutorial. But this is pretty. And then I'm gonna take a clean finger and just kind of press it out. So it's more of a glitter sheen rather than a complete gold overlay. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that on the other eye. Patting, and then taking my clean finger and blending. This is really stunning. You guys, this is stunning. It is, wow. I forgot to mention that a brush does come in the palette. A nice fluffy tapered brush on one side and more of a denser brush on the other. I wouldn't quite call this a flat shader brush. Got some fubs on there. Just because it is a little bit thicker, but I think this would be great for darkening the outer corners, which I'm gonna do right now. So I have decided to darken the outer corner a little bit. So I'm gonna take the shade Bare Root. It is a nice deep chocolatey brown, and I am going to load up this brush given to me in the palette. Darken up the outer corners just a little bit. So I'm just gonna pat it on and then I'm gonna blend it out. That's the way that I like to deepen my outer corners. I might have to go in and add some more of the shimmer shades, but that's okay. So I'm gonna lay down the color first, then I'm gonna go ahead and blend it out. I'm just gonna turn it around and blend it out with this fluffy side here. These brushes are very nice. Sigma brushes are very well made, high quality brushes. Nice, so just deepened it just the tiniest bit, just to add some dimension. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean up my under eye area, make the shape of my eye that I prefer. So I just kind of run the makeup wipe under my eye so it's nice and straight, kind of like a cat eye. And then we will move on to the face. I do generally prefer doing my eyes first, then moving on to my face, especially if I'm using glitter, which is more often than not. So I went ahead and cleaned up my under eye area. I don't see any glitter flecks on my face. So we're going to move on to primer. I'm going to use the Tatcha, the Silk Canvas Primer. I do just have a sample size, but I have been enjoying it lately. I feel like I wasn't using enough of it at first. I know it says to only use, I think a rice size amount, but for someone with quite a bit of pores, I feel like I need more. So I just like to take my fingernail and just go up. So I take about that much on each portion of my face, forehead, cheek, and chin. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And then we're gonna blend it in. So just on the 4 areas of my face. And then I'm gonna blend it in. And I focus it in the middle of my face and then blend outwards. I'm going to go wet my sponge and I will be right back. I am back. It's time to move on to foundation. I am going to use the Wet n Wild Photofocus foundation, the new dewy kind in the shade Shell Ivory. I hope you can see that. It is a little bit of a glare here. I enjoy filming in front of my window. So you're just gonna twist it off. It does have this strange paddle applicator, and I just take it right onto my face. I do one side of my face at a time. And then I'm going to take my Real Techniques Miracle Complexion sponge on the flat side and blend it out. I do tend to prefer sponge application for foundations. I do have plenty of foundation brushes, and I use them from time to time. Mostly in the summer when my skin is a little less dry, more naturally dewy. It kind of plays a little bit better with foundation brushes. But I do enjoy sponge application. If I'm testing out a foundation, I'll do one side with a brush and one side with a sponge, just to see which one I do prefer. More often than not, it's with a sponge. I like to use 2 concealers, mostly because this one is almost out, and I have this one that is a smidge too dark right now, but this one's pretty perfect. So I just combine the 2 for a nice concealer concoction. This is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer, and this is the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Hydrate Concealer. This is so good. Well, they're both so good, but this is so good. I think that's better than Shape Tape. Personal preference. I like to take 2 dots of both concealers. I think they're both better than Shape Tape, to be honest. And they're both way less expensive. This is $6 and this is $10. Way less expensive. And then I take my L'Oreal Shake and Glow Dew Mist. I spray the pointed side of my sponge, tap off any excess, and then go ahead and blend out the concealer. I've mentioned this before, but the way that the mist combines with the concealer and the sponge, it's heavenly. There's no other way to explain it. It's just that good. If you haven't tried it, you can use any sort of luminous mist you might have on hand. For example, the Tatcha one, you can use the L'Oreal one. If you have another favorite, I also have the Morphe Luminous setting mist. That one's on the newer side, but anything of that nature will work. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and spot conceal in my rosacea areas as well as any breakouts I might have. So I'm just going to assess my situation in my mirror over here. And I like to take my e.l.f. concealer to spot conceal because it is a little bit darker than the other one. Just gonna go ahead in any rosacea areas. So typically right next to my nose gets very, very red. It acts up a little bit. So we will blend out some concealer here. And then down here I have some breakouts. And then I just take it and blend it away from the area that I just put concealer in, just to make it blend nice and seamlessly. And I don't spray any additional of the Dew Mist on my sponge for spot concealing. Just a personal preference. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just something that I picked up and really enjoy doing. Okay, so I'm just gonna assess my situation in my mirror here. Everything looks nice and blended. Now we can set our under eyes. So I'm going in with my favorite under eye setting powder. I've probably talked about it in every single video on my channel so far. Number 7, Lift and Luminate Triple Action Translucent Finishing Powder. And I take a BH brush, get it all coated, look up and apply. I always make sure to pounce out any creases with my sponge before going in and setting. But this is the best under eye setting powder. It is so beautiful. Magic. Complete magic. I love it. I'm going to use the Milk Makeup Matte Bronzer Stick in Baked. And the way that I like to apply this is I apply it to the back of my hand. Just get a nice little amount on there. Then I take my IT Cosmetics Airbrush Flawless Complexion Brush and I take this side and I load it up. Make sure I have enough product on there. And then I go ahead and start to bronze my skin. I like to apply it in a patting motion first and then pat and blend. So I go in the hollow of my cheek here, grab a little more product, go for my forehead, again patting in, grabbing some more product, going to the other side, again the hollow, patting and blending upwards, going back into the hairline on this side, and then grabbing more product right on the brush and going under my chin. And my hoops get in the way, like they always do. That's okay. They're pretty. And then I take it a little bit on either side of my nose and just under my nose too. So that is the base bronzing for my cream bronzer. I don't like to put too much cream bronzer because I do like to go in and set it with a powder bronzer. Don't know if you think that's extra, but just like how I like to do it. So make sure it's all nice and blended on all sides, in all areas. Then I do take my brush and go over my ears just to make sure it's all the same color. So I typically use a powder blush, but today I'm going to use the Colourpop blush Stix in the shade Aloha. It looks like this. It's just a nice peachy cream blush, and I'm going to take it just like I do with my cream bronzer on the back of my hand. That is a gorgeous shade. And I'm going to take a BH Cosmetics brush. This is just a duo fiber brush. I'm just gonna work it in. Make sure it's all nice and coated. Smile and apply to the apples of your cheeks. So I do like to pat and stipple a little bit and then work it up to my cheekbone. That is a nice shade. I'm gonna apply a little bit more to the back of my hand. Load up the brush again. Smile and apply. Again, I don't like to apply too much blush because of my rosacea. And then I do take a little bit on my nose. I think that looks super cute. Just to have a little bit on the nose. Okay, so that looks really nice. Just a nice little flush here. So that's it for our cream products. I am going to go in and set my cream bronzer so that I can put on a powder bronzer. Take my number 7 powder again with a big powder brush, swirl it in there, and set the areas where I bronzed so that I can put on some powder bronzer. I do like to put on powder bronzer as well because the bronzer that I like to use has a little bit of shimmer to it. Actually, I would say more of a sheen rather than a shimmer. Just makes the skin look nice and healthy. I apologize for my hair being in my face. I really enjoy makeup, but I haven't mastered the art of hair. You might see me with curly hair every once in a while, but not always. So my favorite powder bronzer is the Cover FX Monochromatic Bronzer Duo. It is a matte and shimmer, and this is in the shade Sunkissed Bronze. There are only 2 shades of this duo, but you can tell which side I like better. I'm going to take my e.l.f. pointed powder brush in the shimmer side. Again, it's more of a sheen than a shimmer. I think it looks incredibly beautiful on the skin. So I'm going to load up my brush here, tap off any excess. I like to go into my hairline first. So I'll bronze my hairline. And then I'll go in with some more. Go onto my cheeks. And then go under my chin. And then down just a tiny bit. Just to make sure we're all the same color here. Okay, so that gives off a really nice sun-kissed glow. And again on the nose a little bit. I'm going to finish out the eyes, and I'm going to take a few of the shades that we used on the top of our lid for the bottom lash line. I'm going to take the shade Apricot, however you like to call it, on a Morphe M321, just a tiny little tapered brush. I'm going to run it underneath both eyes. I think these eyeshadows are extremely pigmented and at the same time very easy to work with. Some shadows can be extremely pigmented and very picky, very hard to work with. Temperamental, that's the word I was looking for. So I'm not someone who likes a lot on the lower lash line, so I typically just take 2 or 3 colors. So I'm going to take the same tapered brush and I'm going to take a little bit of the coral shade Hybrid on the outer half of the lash line. So again, nothing too crazy, just some color down there. I'm going to take my Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. I'm going to go ahead and set my whole face before going in with my highlighter. Just something I like to do. Okay, friends, my favorite part, highlighting. I'm going to take the Wet n Wild highlighting powder in the shade Bloom Time. It is this gorgeous pinky gold, just springtime highlight. It's so pretty. I'm going to take a Morphe M510 giant fluffy brush. I'm going to work it in there, tap off any excess, and just go right in and highlight. It is gold with a pinky shift. Hopefully you can see that. But it is something else, you guys. Something else. It's so special. I love keeping it around for springtime. Especially if you're doing a really blush heavy look, it can just kind of bring the whole thing together really nicely. And I'm going to take a tiny bit on my nose, tiny bit on the Cupid's bow, make it nice and shiny. Just a little bit though, because it is slightly pink tone. And I'm going to take a little baby brush, dip into the highlighting powder, and highlight the inner corners of my eye to bring some life there and some shine there as well. So beautiful. Moving on to the eyebrows. I'm going to use the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil in the shade 3.5. I have a little baby one that I'm just trying to use up. I don't have too much of it left, but I'm gonna go ahead and do both of my eyebrows, which will take me 1,000 years because as you can see, one of my eyebrows is very wonky. It kind of has a mind of its own. It has a beautiful shape, but it has a mind of its own. And then this one, it's just straight. I don't know why this one moves all the time. Couldn't tell you. No idea. But I do the best I can. And since this pencil does not have a spoolie on the other end, I just take a Colourpop dual-sided brow brush, take the spoolie, and blend out any harshness I might have. I do get a little harsh towards the front of my brow, so I just alternate between the spoolie and my finger just to blend it out, because I like to keep them looking nice and feathery, but and not too, you know, Instagram browy. Just not my vibe. Looks great on other people, not my vibe. So I do my best to try to get my brows to match. I can't promise that they always do, but I really try. And I use hair-like strokes with the pencil and blending it in with the spoolie. So there are my brows. I'm going to put in a brow gel. I'm going to use the Maybelline Fast Brow Sculpt, just the clear shade, to set them, make them look extra feathery. Just run that through there on both sides. And upward strokes. There you go, some feathery brow. All right, friends, we're getting towards the end of this video. I am going to go in with mascara. I'm going to take the L'Oreal Bambi Eyes mascara. I have been very much enjoying this one. It is a plastic wand that is a little bit on the spikier side, but I have been enjoying the way it makes my lashes look. So I'm going to do 2 coats on the top, 1 coat on the bottom. So this is 2 coats of the Bambi Eyes mascara on both of my top lashes. I'm going to go in and do my bottom lashes, obviously making the face, the mascara face. Just doing a, hello hair. Just a gentle coat on the bottom. So the face and eyes are done. All we have to do is lips. I'm going to go in with the Wet n Wild Gel Lip Liner in the shade Bear to Comment. And I'm going to line my lips. I like to start with the top of my lip first. And I just follow my natural lip line. And I fill in just a little bit. And then I adjust the lip line as needed. Now I'm going to take the Wet n Wild Mega Last Matte Lipstick in the shade Bare It All. This is the new packaging. I think it is adorable. And then this is also a nude color. So I'm going to put that right in the center here. And then I'm going to take, of course, a lip gloss. This is the e.l.f. Lip Plumping Gloss in the shade Champagne Glam. I'm just going to take this on the very center of my lips. For some shine. That completes this look. I think this came out so nicely. I went a little bit rustier than I anticipated doing, but I think that it came out really nicely, and I think it shows some great versatility of the Sigma Cor De Rosa palette. If you liked this video and you enjoy me, I hope you subscribe, like this video, be sure to hit that notification bell to be notified every single time I upload, and with that, I'll see you in my next video. Bye!